right, guys, welcome back. Of course, the Senate StarCraft Prime League here for you, and we're just going to get right into these player introductions because it's going to feel so satisfying to introduce these two players for this epic TVZ ahead of us on Deadwing. So, spawning in the top right-hand corner and looking like he's going to be taking a CC first, it is, representing Team Liquid, the one, the only, Taeja.
And this opponent, spawning on the bottom left, that cross position representing Team Evil Geniuses is going to be the one true Jaedong.
The one true king of the Zerg race. I feel like everyone's got a soft spot for Jaedong, no matter what your race is.
No matter what,
just cause, man.
Yeah.
Just cause. I mean, also the name.
You know what?
It's the best name.
I feel like also like a player like Taeja is someone that I feel will be immortalized as well, no matter what, too. So the way that we do talk about like Jaedong and Flash from Brood War days, no matter what, you'll be thinking about these kind of players. Even Polt is on that, I would say, level now, as far as just being so consistent. Recently winning the WCS Season 1, and it's nice to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, Life. I'd say Life is the best player in the game right now. He seems untouchable. But this, I mean, they're those names that you're always going to be talking about when this game is discussed. And Taeja, he's got so many great tournament wins. I mean, he took DreamHack undefeated, I think, one time. Like, that was insane. And he won, of course, DreamHack winner in 2013, I believe it was. And the guy is just, he can be unstoppable at times. He's just one of those dudes, people just say, well, that play was Taeja-esque. It's almost as if, you know you're good once your name becomes synonymous with being good at the game. So he's going to go ahead and get the scout and notice that things are diagonal cross spawns on this map, which I think is going to cater a little bit to Jaedong, maybe. It's a bit further, but of course, Taeja going right into this early CC play, so not afraid to macro up himself.
Yeah, not at all. And I like the fact he just saw that it wasn't going to be some crazy 14-14 or something like that. Doesn't really care what it is that Jaedong is doing behind it right now. He has a set build in his head. He went for the CC first, and he's going to play it a bit safer here. He has the bunker out, and Jaedong is playing it safe himself, getting rid of these rocks. Taeja not really the type of player that often to do something like these tank drops and whatnot, but, I feel like if he was going to, then Jaedong would be more than prepared for it. So
it's one of those things that's like, what are your lings doing if you're not getting the scout, if you're not going to be able to get some damage done? And as he does scout the location, notices he's not really going to be able to, as we have a third CC getting made here. So Taeja going right into the macro swing of things. You might as well put your queen and your lings to work and go ahead and get them taking out those rocks, just like you said, because it can be so annoying to get siege tank drops in that position. This map, notorious for that play, so why not put my queens to work if they're not doing anything else, and don't really need to watch after them that much. But the third CC from Taeja, I think that's a result of maybe a bit of the cross spawn. He likes to do some 2-base Widowmine pushes, especially versus Zerg, but going 3C on this map. Got the reactor Hellions coming out of the factory, as well as a tech lab going up on the barracks. Looking to get all the classic Terran stuff going on for you. Nothing crazy out of him. Stem upgrade just started. I mean, this is pretty standard as the two Hellions make their way on the map. 2 more, and of course, getting that wall back up at the natural, just in case there's a Ling run by waiting to happen as he checks his Cell Knock tower.
I mean, he plays it in a way that they call him like a robot of StarCraft as well, where he hasn't really scouted anything, but TVZ, especially in a matchup, is a matchup that you can do the triple CC build and then have some kind of crazy all-in hit you. But if you've defended against things so many times, like, there are only so many things that are possible to be able to be happening, right? Like Roachbane, I think, was the biggest one that you're afraid of as a Terran player, and it could happen, but he's taking that chance by going right for it and saying, you know what, I'll take the chances, and if I don't get Roachbaned, then I'm going to be in a much better economic position, and this is the stage of the game that Taeja will shine the most. So
yeah, as soon as he gets his pressure on, he's one of those guys who's just got a great timing. I mean, I feel like, we don't want to overtalk Taeja because we've got another great player in Jaedong who definitely made it. But I mean, he's one of my favorite players, and he's just patient. He's really key. He knows exactly when to go and attack. He doesn't really, you don't find him overexerting himself too much or pushing when he doesn't need to be pushing. He's got a really good sense of the game here. But +1 attack and armor upgrades for him for his bio. 4 racks on the way. Taeja, notoriously a bio player. I haven't really seen him do mech that often versus Zerg. In fact, I can't even remember him doing it once.
I can't even think of a time. Yeah. But I mean, even Jaedong, he's playing it very standard as well. Like, I was trying to keep an eye out to see if he was going to be going for some kind of that Baneling Buster, anything just life-esque, right? I guess, where you take the third base, but you just rally out a bunch of units before even droning it out. Keep in mind here, Jaedong is really sitting on 14 lings right now that are setting up for a counterattack. They haven't necessarily gone in just yet, and I'm wondering if he just doesn't feel like he would be able to do a lot of damage. But he made those in order just to deal with any Hellbats or maybe perhaps some kind of early game push. And now he's really comfortable. He's droning up his third, and he would want to take that fourth base very soon because Taeja's already mining from his third base, and Jaedong is kind of just playing it up standard as he's already up to 70 drones. I'm so happy that we're able to see a macro game between these two players that'll just go. This is pretty much game number 1. I'm gonna test you. Like, where have you been, Jaedong? Is pretty much what Taeja's saying, and Jaedong saying, I'm right here, as he does almost surround all of these Hellions with the lings. I think he's actually gonna get them, being so patient, not just to go in, but waiting to surround it.
Yeah, it was a great play. I mean, catch him out in the open as this bio does come here to support finally. One thing to note, Spire going down, Baneling speed, +2 actually on the way, melee and armor for Jaedong. So he's going into that Ling Bling Muto style, which is so exciting to watch, of course, against a Bio Terran. So this is the classic StarCraft matchup. Man, everything is pairing up for the greatness here, and both of these players, I think, don't want to cut our ASL Prime too short. They're gonna no, we're gonna give these guys the best StarCraft action they can watch as this 2 medevac push is coming, 2 Marauders, 2 Hellions coming in the mix with a bunch of Marines here, denying some of the creep tumors early on. These 2 Queens are gonna have to retreat or die as the armory has been completed, so therefore Hellbats instead of Hellions, just a little bit extra more firepower as these bio units make their way across the map. A lot of Balings there on the ground for Jaedong, more morphing on the way, but is Taeja going to be able to hit as his +2 is on the way as well? He's definitely got a good position.
Surprised.
It's quick, yeah.
I was surprised he hasn't really scanned for the creep. He's just like dancing on the creep, almost saying, come at me, and the mutas are just now coming out. And I was wondering, he's just like kind of dancing there.
He's gonna lose
that's a dangerous move. Oh man, it's such a dangerous move. Oh, he saves it though. And I think this is more of a trade than any kind of death blow, and he needs to be able to do that. He feels like he has a superior economy and is going to continue to do this. That's a very risky trade that he's going for. It's not like he was spread out on the creep. He just went in, didn't spread the creep, and then said, hey, or didn't clear the creep, rather. So,
I was just talking about how Taeja is patient, and then Jaedong exploiting absolutely made it just the right amount of Banelings, came in, damaged the medevac to where it wouldn't be able to, be aggressive anymore, and that was so key. Now Taeja taking his time and clearing the creep, setting down 2 Widow Mines, and I think Jaedong got the better of that engagement for sure, as now these mutas are getting into that number that is just culminating. The Widow Mine's going off on a Queen, not the best engagement, but going down well done there on the Ling, so the second Widow Mine able to make up for it, and the 2 Queens, even though nice transfer is going down.
One of them does,
out. It's fantastically quick,
will always be remembered, for sure. This is just pressure being put on right now, but you know what? Jaedong can be under pressure. He's up to almost 80 drones. He has his 4th base up now. The gas, at least one of them are mining, and Taeja is just doing a bit of a push, but the fact that it's cross position, I would say, does favor Jaedong at this point in time. And
Jaedong coming around the back Lings, getting a couple of good mine hits on friendly units. Now the Baneling's going to be able to crash down 2 Widow Mines, but I think Taeja being able to sprint off the creep. I think he got the benefit of the engagement on that one, and up to 4 bases, not mining yet, but this is just a lot of macro, a lot of units from both teams. I think Taeja realizes he might need to get out now.
Yeah, he's definitely feeling the pressure now, as he does have to move on back. The muta count isn't too big. It's at 14, and there's no more that are being produced just at this moment. Jaedong just making sure not to overmake them so that he can actually kill the units of Taeja. Because, I feel like Taeja has just been dropping mules like crazy. Not really worrying about the creep, which is something that he will have to eventually, but he's just trying to overwhelm at the moment with this massive amounts of production.
Yeah, it's going the opposite,
Jaedong is the one. Exactly.
Jaedong coming in with these mutas. Now the Ling's getting on top. In the wall, the Widowmines are going to be able to burrow, but are they going to get out on friendly fire? More so. The muta's so hard to deal with. The Thor does come out as the Marines are going to get wiped up a little bit. It's always a bad sign when mutas can beat Marines. Now we've got a Thor out of the field, a couple of Marines out, only one medevac, and you know what? He's dropping creep at the same time as pressuring the 4th expansion of Taeja, and he might lose his command center, and that would be massive.
Yeah, but I think the command center is going to go down. Even the Thors and the Marauders, as well as everything else, is getting surrounded, and GG will be called.
GG.
Welcome back here to the ASL Season 4 Prime League, and I'm Tempo, joined by, excuse me, Tyrannus. But the more important players are these two, one of which spawning in the bottom left, surprisingly to all Terrans across the world, is his map pick. It is going to be Liquid's Taeja.
And his Zerg opponent spawning in the top right-hand corner of Expedition Lost, taking game 1 pretty handedly off of a Deadwing crosspawn. Representing Evil Geniuses, it is the red Zerg player, Jaedong.
All right,
go ahead
game
and
number
hatch
2.
First. Yeah, game number 2. I mean, it's funny. Like, we were talking before the map about how this was, Taeja's pick as a Terran player. I absolutely abhor this map. But something tells me, we were talking about it a little bit before. This is a best of 3. You lose 2, that's it. But that basically to me means, you're going to have tailored builds that you're going to execute, because I feel like longer series allow you to be more of a reactive style player. But if I've only got this amount of games to win, you're going to have dedicated builds for maps. And I think that might actually cater to Taeja's playstyle a little bit. But Jaedong, like we were talking about, which player's more rusty? Jaedong looked in, a little shinier than Taeja did last map.
Pretty solid, yeah. Just very solid play. No real gimmicks out there, and he ended up getting the better hand of it. And he's not even doing anything gimmicky right now either. Still opening with the hatch first, and I mean, of course, we can't tell right off of the bat. But it wasn't like he assumed that Taeja was gonna go for CC first again, and then make like a pool first, really fast 6 Lings or something like that. So I wonder if we'll see a pretty similar. Though, Taeja though, he did go for the gas, get the barracks out, but then he decided to go for Marines instead of the Reaper. So, or did he have a? Yeah, he doesn't have a Reaper at all. So
no, he doesn't have a Reaper.
Getting that first Overlord.
Yeah, he got Marines out and took out a first Overlord, and I mean that's pretty good decision, because it's a pretty close spawn distance in this map. So if you get Marines out early enough, chances of you sniping that Overlord are actually pretty high. And then secondly, Reapers are absolutely god awful on this map.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
There's no room for you to get that Reaper up in the main. And once he is there, he's generally trapped. And so, I mean, if, Taeja, I feel like he's not... Jaedong is a pretty standard player himself, so I don't think Taeja's got to worry about... There's really not
much you're going to find
exactly
with the Reaper, right? It's like, yeah, okay, cool, you have a queen, and... but, yeah, I agree with that 100%. Not really the best map for Reapers. But... And even Taeja, I wonder if... Is he the type of Terran that would even go for... Like, say, yeah, he wouldn't even go for like 3 Reapers that often. I don't think I really see him do it too often, where he would combine it with the Hellions. But.
I mean, the most famous player I've heard remark about Taeja's playing style is Innovation. And Innovation, as we know, like super principled type of player. Like, he sticks to his standards. And he remarked about Taeja, like, that kid doesn't have standards. Like, he just he just plays. Like, he's so flexible. He's this and that. And so, but I mean, it's funny because the only time I've ever seen Taeja is he plays fairly standard. It's just that he does it in such a way that makes it seem like he's not even trying for the most part.
Yeah. Right, I know what you mean by that. It's almost scary sometimes when you see that, and it's like, what if this kid like actually tried, but it feels like he must. It just comes natural, and some people do that. I think that some of the best people or the best representatives of any sport that they play make it seem like that. Like, it's just like so easy and so natural.
It's like you and your cast.
Jaedong is definitely
bam,
shot damn. So I do have some. Wait a minute, Jaedong's actually doing something a little different this time. He didn't open gasless, but he is looking like almost a ZVZ build where you get 1 Evo Chamber and a Roach Warren with it. Usually the Roach Warren is just to deal with large amounts of Hellions, but I wonder if he's actually going to make something happen with it.
So what? Yeah, One thing key here, though, as 5 Roaches do go into the production tab, is Taeja took out that Rocks, of course, that we saw, and now the medevac is going to come support these 4 Hellions and 6 Marines. But that made it so it sectioned out the engagement as he comes up and attacks these Queens. That means that there's no way that you're going to have a Ling run by going across the map as he makes his way right up into this ramp and is going to be able to take out the first Queen. Now the Roaches pop. It's bad because they didn't all pop at the same time.
At the same time, yeah.
Yeah, Roaches, and they're all getting smacked down, and the drones are targeted by Taeja. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's 8 drones are down so far, but the Marines are still up, and the medevac has about 3 bars of energy there. But it is going to have to pick up and go home. And, you know, maybe this was a really nice move from Jaedong, because I don't even know if he would have been able to not take that much damage had he gone for Ling Bane. Just because you don't have enough Banelings, and you have to morph them in the time that it takes.
So that would have been pretty rough, as we see a lot of creep going down from these overlords just to make sure that he has. I guess I mean, why not make it if your overlords are in that position to have vision of medevac drops anyway, and of course, you know, getting Queens and Roaches in locations to deal with drops. But one thing for sure, as we saw, the Roaches were seen by Taeja. He already had his 3rd CC on the way. He's going to go ahead and start getting Marauder production as well as stim. So I think that that push kind of just reset things a little bit, got everything on an even keel, as these Hellions are going to be poking up into the natural over here, getting sniped by the Roaches. But now they're going to see what they can see. If we get one more drone kill, it'd be nice. Yeah, one more. So not too bad.
Not bad. I mean, really, that's what else are you going to really get there? And unfortunately, he didn't get into the main. But I think a big thing that Taeja had to take note of was that Jaedong's 3rd was so late. And, you know, it's actually not even done yet. It's going down now, and it's going to be around the 10-minute mark. And Taeja is going for a triple command center build himself. That was a little bit delayed because of the push. Maybe he was expecting Jaedong to go for some kind of really quick 3 hatchery and just not have enough units. But Jaedong is doing things a little different. This is not something that you typically will see all the time. And Taeja, I don't know if he knows about these Roaches going on the left side of the map, as he does drop a lot of his Marines here in this Overlord hangout zone.
Oh man, maybe some Star Sense going down, because he just threw down 3 supply depots right there as he sees the Rock start getting to go worked on a little bit. He's going to go ahead and get his units back into position as he knows what's going down now. It might be too little too late. He needs to position a siege tank, but I mean, where are the forces at? There we go. They're hiding behind this big old barracks line. A lot of Roaches, though. 2 siege tanks.
That is so many.
So key. But the 2 siege tanks, I think with the SCVs, Taeja might be able to hold this. Don't be my internet. Please don't be my internet.
No.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay.
We're okay. Okay, now the siege tanks coming in, the Roaches getting on top of things, but I think the siege tanks are going to be just enough, and Taeja going to be able to hold against Jaedong. For now.
Yeah, that is a beautiful position that they, well, at least Taeja got those Roaches in, and oh my god, he's actually getting aggressive onto these Roaches, gonna get this around on all of these, and the Marauders just shooting their concussive shells at them, and that is the end of this Roach push. And if you look at this...
Whoa!
GG!
Welcome back to this game 3. It's going to be the last game of this series, and of course it's these 2 famous players. We know them well, but I'm going to go ahead and get right into the introductions. Spawning the bottom of Vani Research Station, representing Evil Geniuses. It is the Blue Zerg player, Jaedong.
And his opponent spawning on the northern portion of the map, representing Liquid and HyperX, it is Taeja. I almost said Liquid Taeja again. Like that H2O.
And of course, we saw last game go down. Roach push got stopped by some siege tanks and Marauders. The first one, a little bit more macro intensive, a little bit more standard, that Jaedong was able to win, do some nice creep and engagement management. This one, we're going to see a Reaper for the first time out of Taeja, so he's actually gone for a different build per map. And honestly, between Expedition Lost, Vani Research Station, and Deadwing, I don't think you could find 3 more different maps in this map pool. Exactly.
It was really nice to see that Taeja is not like just sticking to one style. He goes for the greed when he feels that he can, well, at least feels comfortable doing it, with that CC first on Deadwing. And then on the next map, and you also have to take into account the game that it is on the series too. So he's like, all right, perhaps he's going to try something crazy. So, and I don't want to go out 2-0 just to something like that by being greedy. So he definitely is playing it. Could be to the map, but also just to that, the best of 3 mentality, I guess, that you see even more in like a best of 7, like you were saying, when you really start to get into mind games and stuff. Oh,
Yeah, for sure. I know where you're coming from, and also, I mean, we were just talking about how we've never seen Taeja do like the multiple Reaper build to get some real harassment on, but it has become a bit of the meta for this map at least, and we have 3 Reapers on the way. So he's just not doing. He doesn't play by. He plays by his own rules. Does Taeja as Jaedong has actually made? Yeah, Jaedong has actually made 6 lings to deal with this because I mean he was probably expecting it because that's what we see. We see multiple Reapers come in and try and get a drone kill. At this point, like you said last night, I believe we had a TVZ between Supernova and Axiom's Impact. If you make this many Reapers, you have to you want to justify it by getting a drone kill now.
Yeah, and he only has one way of getting in there. It's not like Catalina where you can just kind of have the world at your fingertips when it comes to the Zerg base, but this is only yeah, he has to be very careful here. Although he can come on that north side, I believe, as well. So he decides to go up the ramp that most Reapers don't take. But apparently they're like, wow, we actually don't have to jump, man. We just can walk up. It was made for us to do it.
Yeah,
apparently.
Yeah, Rick the Reaper found out that the jetpacks explode sometimes, so he's going to go ahead and not do that for a little bit. One Reaper getting caught out a little bit, getting down to some low health, almost picked off. Speed almost about to finish, and I think Jaedong hit that timing pretty well, and didn't overmake lings. Has 2 queens, pretty standard amount. And Taeja not getting the desired damage done that he wants to these Reapers, and he knows Speed's about to finish up. And the one thing that Supernova made the mistake of yesterday was losing the Reapers unnecessarily. Taeja not going to make that same
that was
mistake.
Huge. He lost all 3 of them. Yeah, Taeja going to save every single one of them here. Is right when Speed finishes too.
Yeah,
you know what though? I also think the fact that Jaedong dealt with that with only the 6 lings that he initially made is pretty good. He didn't have to make any others, and against 3 Reapers, that's pretty good if you're able to keep your cool and do that. Because if you make another ling, that's pretty much like killing a drone, when you use that lava and the minerals to do it. Because they're not going to really make a difference here when the Hellions are out. So,
yeah, and the Hellions are
definitely dealing with it.
The Hellions are super slow. I mean, a 650, 2 Hellions on the map is not. I mean, especially if you only go for the 1 Reaper, right? You have 4, almost 6 at this point. So this is it's definitely super slow to have these Hellions now. And Hellions also are not the best on this map, as the natural's well defended. Now you want to get into snipe creep, you want to get lings, but these 2 Hellions might get caught out by these 6 lings here. Able to mic their little hearts out, but they're actually surrounded. One is going to go down, and then another one is going to go down. So he gets both of them for free. And a little bit of mistake from Taeja, also losing a Hellion in the engagement versus the Queens, and he has to pull an SEV, I think, to deal with it. Yeah, he has to repair this.
He's going to have to. So I mean, he doesn't have any units here at all. There's literally nothing that can kill these lings at the moment until those Hellions get back. There they come. 2 Hellions pop out, and I'm sure he didn't want to reveal the Banshee just yet, but imagine that, having to reveal them to kill the lings.
Oof. Yeah, that's never a good thing. I mean, revealing any sort of tech. But one thing he is doing well is he's got his 3rd CC up, and he's trying to deny this 3rd, but more lings on the way, and there are speed lings just off creep, so they might be able to get the surround. Spire just going down for Jaedong as he's able to get surround on all 3 of these Reapers. So a little, they're all going to die eventually, but a little sloppy. A little sloppy from Taeja, man.
Yeah, I mean, now the Banshee's coming out, spots the Spire, so he may be able to get this, but delaying the Spire, is that really what you want to do? I mean, that might be all that he wants to settle for, but, these Queens are actually very low from that previous attack. And hopefully, those Hellions didn't die in vain, as well as the Reapers, if this Banshee can do something, but oh my god, the Banshee might even go down, and
that's huge. That Banshee
this
is
really big.
Alive. Now you've lost all of your
important.
units that keep the Zerg back home. Like, you don't have Reapers on the field, no Hellions, your Banshee's gone. Your Stim's about to finish up, but he saw the Spire, he knows what's up. Now you're going to watch a timid Taeja. You're going to watch him stay home for a little bit and really shore things up, because I think he's a little flustered right now. And, I mean, we see a Burrow restart research for Jaedong, and so, I mean... Burrowed Bailings, perhaps?
Yeah, anyone? I've seen this so much more often nowadays, especially Snoot. Been loving to watch him play because he is a player that has been incorporating that into almost every one of his TVZs nowadays. I feel like he's been the player that, first, what did he do? The Swarm host in this matchup against Bio, then even going into Burrow. And no one will ever forget, of course, Scarlet being one of the queens of Burrowed Banelings, so... Looks like everybody finally picked up towards the stage of Heart of the Swarm.
Everyone's like, you know what? We got some little minds too. Actually, it turns out. Yeah, I mean, what's the famous ending was the Bomber versus Scarlet match, the Red Bull.
Oh my God, I was there live.
Oh, you were. That must have been incredible. But we've got a supply box for Taeja that just now finished up, and I mean, just like we're talking about where
4
things are
depots
going
on the
in
way.
this game. Yeah, 899. But now we've got 6 meters on the way, and we're going to see what they can get done. 1 turret in the natural mineral line as well as outside of it. And you know what? I think that's just the right amount of turrets to section out an early number of lings. And really, you want to start moving on the map, and you want to keep Mutas home not by having defense. You want to keep Mutas home by just pressuring the hell out of your opponent.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he wanted to do with his earlier units. He didn't have the best of luck with them. Even the units lost before Jaedong lost a few of those lings, looked even worse. But it is 950 to 4. Well, you're gonna change a little bit now, as I didn't even know what it is that died, but something did. And these Hellions are in a little bit of trouble themselves. And this is such a weird position here for a Terran, where you're like, why am I home right now? You know, it's like I do want to be able to do some damage, and even if you're able to start getting rid of that creep. That is another thing that you would definitely want to be doing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, once the creep spread gets going on Viney Research Station, as these banelings are burrowed, that is what we're going to see. So I'm going to go ahead and pat myself on the back for that one. Of course, it could be anything else, but I mean, look at this. Look at the bio. The bio's moving out in a pretty weird position. This is the banelings. It's going to come down.
Oh, man.
Go right over it. Oh, God. He's going to go over.
And he's going to go back into the other one.
Taeja, no! All of your forces are now irrelevant because they're dead.
Oh my goodness!
They're not alive anymore.
They're just gone.
Oh my
and
God.
Now he scans. That was the most like.
Jaedong, you won the lottery.
He definitely did. And we were talking about just being able to pressure. Now that's even worse. Look at this creep just all over the place. Now you have to spend scans on killing creep, but also scans on burrowed banelings, so that's less meals at home. And the economy of Jaedong is going to start kicking in too, as he does have that 4th base, but he is on 73 drones. Hellbats are actually morphing in, but the banelings are going to crash through. Is this even enough, though? There's 1 more baneling, 2 more banelings, actually a few more in the back. Even Queen's getting in on the action, but where are the Mutalisks? Oh, there they are, inside of the natural of Taeja while all of this goes down. Keep in mind about those mutas doing massive amounts of economic damage too.
Yeah, it's going to come down to this engagement, though, I think, because the mutas are going to do as much as they can, but they try to snipe the orbital. They didn't go for this SCVs. So now the supply is looking a little bit more even than it was looking. This engagement's going to happen on creep. Is Taeja going to be able to get the splits? One Widowmine getting caught a little bit out of positions. The Marauders, of course, in the front of the army. The Marines splitting for days as well as they can. Still a pretty good amount of Marines here, and you know what?
Yeah, these splits are really nice.
Well, the splits were really good. Even on creep, Widowmine getting his shot off. 2 more Widowmines in support with the medevacs, of course, picking up the Marines just on creep. I think he understands he's got to get out here, and the mutas are making chase, and well, this is the game we wanted to see, I think, Tempo.
Yes, it is. And the Marines kiting back, but it looks like Taeja has to tap out, and Jaedong will take the game.